Failed Calgary Mayor Jyoti Gondek shows once again how she was placed and not actually voted in, as she cares very little about Calgarians' futures and views for the holidays. Let's get into it.
Oh, yeah!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. As we get into today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about something I find important, something that I think is good to talk about at this time of year, and that's how people celebrate their holidays. Now, there's many different holidays that come around this time of year. People of different faiths, different religious views, celebrating the holidays. And when I say the holidays, I'm not pulling one of those pretentious, you can't say Merry Christmas. I believe in Merry Christmas. I celebrate Christmas with my family every year. But there is, of course, Kwanzaa. We hear about different beliefs that people have across the world, whether it's the Europeans, whether it's the Japanese, whether it's North Americans, and how they view Christmas celebrations or holiday celebrations. And one group that I feel deserves just as much attention at this time of year are those celebrating the wonderful season of Hanukkah. Now, growing up in Manitoba as a kid and growing up in Winnipeg, a lot of my friends were Jewish. There was Christians and a lot of Jewish kids. Some celebrated Hanukkah, some celebrated Christmas. Some families, most families, celebrated both. I have fond memories of growing up in the 1980s in primary school from kindergarten to grade 8, where students celebrated by doing Christmas concerts. We sang carols. We talked about the religious aspects of Christmas, and all kids joined in, give or take one or two whose parents said, we just don't want our kids involved. But there was never any talk about offendedness or politics or any kind of separation from those holidays, because people were pretty open-minded to understand that this is a tradition and this is something that people celebrate, and we want our kids to be culturally enriched, so to speak, as it comes full circle. Now, failed woke mayor Jyoti Gondek, whom I've always said I believe was placed and not actually voted into this position as mayor of the city. In the 11th hour, of course, there were large cash donations made in her honor for her campaign, and suddenly she just skipped ahead in the polls. She's shown, well, more times than less, she really doesn't care about Calgarians. She doesn't care about people's beliefs, and she's done that ever more evidently as Hanukkah approaches. The menorah lighting is a very common event in Calgary, and it's one that's historic that most of City Council usually participate in, namely the mayor. Whether or not they're Jewish, they still acknowledge that holiday. And again, I think that what Mayor Jyoti Gondek has done, as the menorah is lit in Calgary City Hall, but the mayor doubles down on the decision to not attend. Now, if you remember Mayor Jyoti Gondek, she implemented a bylaw in Calgary that said that you're not allowed to protest the drag time story hours because her child was non-binary and wanted to make sure to virtue signal over to that community, saying how close it was to her heart, that you're not allowed to disagree with the views or opinions of men dressed in women's clothing, claiming to be women in drag, reading stories to your children. But when it comes to Hanukkah and the lighting of a menorah, well, we just can't have any of that, can we? So Jyoti Gondek has made it very clear that not only can you get fined for being around those events, sharing your opinions, exercising your rights of your charters of freedom, but now it's offensive and too political to join in with Hanukkah, but it's okay for drag queens to read to your children. Her quote was, I wanted people to know the mayor... Oh, sorry, not her quote. I wanted to know the mayor wasn't choosing a side in something that honestly has no sides. Gondek told Post Media. Despite extensive backlash, Calgary's mayor says she does not regret her decision to skip Thursday's annual menorah lighting at City Hall. This was, of course, last Thursday. Speaking to Post Media on Friday, Jyoti Gondek reiterated that her withdrawal from the annual event to mark the beginning of the Jewish observance of Hanukkah, of course we see the lizard queen right there, was born out of her sense that organizers had attached pro-Israel messaging to its promotional poster. Now, again, she's bringing virtue signaling politics by splitting a side in what's going on in the conflict overseas, to make it about why she doesn't want to have anything to do with this event. The mayor had announced her intention of boycotting the gathering in a social media post on Wednesday evening, stating that what was initially labeled as a religious celebration was politicized at the last minute. There are things that a public figure has to do, and there are perceptions when your name is attached to an event that says something like support Israel, she said. I do not want that to be the perception. I wanted the Jewish community to have a beautiful event, and I wanted people to know the mayor wasn't choosing a side in something that honestly has no sides. Now, of course, on this channel, I've often said, I won't pick a side. I think Canada should come first. I think that Canada should focus on Canada, and while I definitely think it's a tragedy what's going on overseas, between Israel and Palestine, I choose not to get involved because I'm not Israeli nor am I Palestinian, and I don't feel I have a horse in the race, so to speak, but I do when it comes to Canada. And one thing we've always done in Canada is show our solidarity when it comes time to participating in regular scheduled events. Now, Jyoti Gondek could have, of course, made her appearance at the lighting of the menorah and just said, I'm not going to make a statement about Israel-Palestine, that I'm not choosing sides. She could have said what she quoted to Post Media at said event, that this is to show a respect to the Jewish community, that I'm here to carry on a tradition in Calgary's City Hall by lighting of the menorah and being present during those events. The fact that she wants to virtue signal and say, well, it's just too political for me to be involved with my name attached to something. But you know what Mayor Jyoti Gondek has attached her name to again? Drag queens reading to your children and fully grown men changing with young girls in change rooms. Gondek said if the poster had not included language about supporting Israel, she would have attended the ceremony. There's a lot of pain, a lot of loss, a lot of grieving that's happening right now, she said, alluding to the ongoing war in Gaza. My attendance at this event could have made that problematic. The only person it would have made it problematic for was her and her virtue signaling. Of course, Dan McLean, one of the city councilors and somebody who I've been chatting with back and forth as I carry on my campaign or get my campaign started to run for mayor of Calgary. Dan McLean's one of the good ones. And I've often said that the only way I would stop running for mayor and maybe run as a councillor for Calgary is if Dan were to step up and run instead, because he has experience at City Hall. And again, I'd rather have more like-minded people on City Council than try to run against Dan and have a kerfuffle. I think Dan, again, has very good views. But nonetheless, he's still entered the political realm, and I am not a politician. And I think that is still a value that I bring to the table. I'm an average citizen who's fed up with the bullshit in this town. And, well, Dan kind of nailed it on the head as his tweet released saying, I'm disappointed in the mayor's decision to not attend the 35-year tradition of the menorah lighting at Calgary City Hall. Our local Jewish community is suffering from a terrible wave of anti-Semitism, and I believe not attending is ill-advised and sends the wrong message. Here's my comments to the media in Calgary, and this was on Friday. So let's take a listen to what Dan had to say.
I was a little shocked and disappointed. A lot of phone calls and messages from members of the Jewish community that are feeling disappointed and hurt as well. This is a time of celebration, usually a celebration of light over darkness, and in these troubled times, I think this is when we should be giving this full support to the Jewish community on what would normally be a joyous occasion.
Are you concerned politics is maybe kind of creeping its way into cultural celebrations?
Yeah, of course. This is a tradition that's been going on here at City Hall for over 35 years. The exact same agenda that every mayor's attended, and it has been politicized until now. So I would suggest that maybe some of these recent actions by the mayor has made it become more politicized, which is unfortunate. I think some of the other decisions were ill-advised, but I will be there tonight. I'm very honored that the Jewish community has asked me to speak, and I'll be there along with hopefully many other of my councillors and members from the federal government and provincial government as well.
So, of course, Dan was present at the menorah lighting, as he stated right here, just over the weekend. I was more than happy to speak at the recent Hanukkah celebration at City Hall, just as I have when asked to speak at Diwali, Ramadan, Chinese New Year's, Filipino Independence Day, and many other diverse cultural celebrations that happen in this great city we call home. Again, Dan showing that he is a true patriot and somebody who loves the city of Calgary as much as I love the city of Calgary. Again, I think Dan's got some great views, and I look forward to chatting with him more. Hopefully, I've been trying to work out a way to bring him onto the channel, maybe to talk about some of the things going on at City Hall. And I know that while we usually cover federal and provincial politics here on the channel, as 2025, ramps up to get closer and closer, it's important to talk about City of Calgary issues as well, and the things that I plan to bring to this city running for mayor. Now, as I stated earlier, I think Dan brings something good to the table. And when I mentioned that maybe I wouldn't run if he was running for mayor, there are, keep in mind, a lot of discussions to go on for that. This does not mean that I'm thinking of conceding. It just means that there's a lot of strategy when you move forward into city politics to make sure that the right people are in the right seats. And right now on city council, we're seeing a lot of left-leaning attitudes, that the more right-leaning people you can get on city council, the more people with similar, we'll just say, day-to-day respectable views is beneficial when opposing these ideological viewpoints of spending and taxing on the people and self-appointed raises, bylaws that affect people. There's a lot of things going on in Calgary and a lot of things to consider as this race moves forward. But again, I've been very prominent to Dan that what my intentions are and where I'm going to move. And Dan has been nothing more than supportive. Again, I think he's a great counselor for the city. I can't say enough good things about him. And I definitely think his heart's in the right place moving forward with Calgary. We need more people like him is what I'm trying to say as I ramble on. Let me know what you folks think. Did Jyoti Gondek do the right thing by stepping away? We all know, of course not. But give me your feedback down below. Should I run or should I run for counselor? Let me know down below what you think is better from a strategy standpoint. If you feel that I'm hitting the nail on the head here, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down below. If it's your first time here, I sure hope this video has earned your subscription. As you're hitting that subscribe button, don't forget to turn on your bell for notifications. The shadow bans are real the more we talk about politics here on this channel, as Justin Trudeau's censorship bill aims to shut us up. So make sure to check back to the channel regularly. We do post content Monday to Friday here on the channel, but also join us Sundays here on the channel at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time as we do our weekly wrap, where we talk about everything that's happened in the past week, everything coming up in the week ahead, and well, a little bit of back and forth with the community. It's always great to talk with you guys and hear what you guys have to say outside of making these videos, and I always look forward to seeing all of our existing community there, as well as new members coming in to tell me how they feel about videos and what they've what they're wanting to bring to the table in terms of their comments, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you there. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.